sure you've seen lots and lots and lots of diagrams explaining English grammar, and most of you probably didn't understand any of them. I've got boards filled with information that students don't really bother to look at. They get confused because they try to take it all at one time and then waste the information entirely. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to explain English verb forms without a diagram. The first thing that you need to remember is that every verb in English begins with the simple. There are three tenses, and tense refers to time: past, present, and future. So, yes, you can say that a future tense begins, verb, form, predicate, whatever you want to call it, begins with a modal verb, and so clearly that's not the simple, but of course the simple uses it. So we'll ignore any pedantic, say, arguments at this juncture. So, every time you say anything in English, you're going to use the simple verb form. And that basically means that you just need to really learn how to conjugate verbs in the simple. So, basically speaking, if it's I, you, we, you, they, then in the present tense, in the simple, everything you say is going to be straight out of the dictionary. You can open up a dictionary and say, do, I do, you do, we do, you do, they do. Okay? Of course, to be is a little more complicated because it has different conjugations, different endings changes for each, three of them. Okay, so it becomes I am, you are, and we'll skip third person right now. We are, you are, they are. Okay? Now, the key thing, of course, to remember is that third person singular, he, she, it, always ends in an S in the present. So, he does, she does, it does, he is, she is, it is. So, basically speaking, if you master the simple, that's basically in the present dictionary form or with a third person singular, it's plus S. Okay? And of course there are some irregular verbs that have a past simple that's irregular, but most of the time regular verbs end in do or do. Okay? And of course I already mentioned the future will use a modal verb typically: will, shall, may, can, must. Okay? So, yes, there are, of course, verbs that imply the future, such as intend. Okay? We'll ignore those right now. Okay? Learn the simple. Okay? So, with regular verbs, this is very easy. With irregular verbs, it's a little more difficult. Okay? But there are about 100 irregular verbs in English. Only about 50 of them are in regular usage, and 20 of them in constant usage. Things like to be, to do, to have, to come, to go, to buy. You've probably heard most of them 1,000 times, even if you're just a beginning student, because I'm sure that you've watched films that were overdubbed in your own language and you heard the English in the background. So, basically speaking, if you learn the simple, you will be able to learn English. Okay? Now, you're now thinking, well, there are four verb forms: the simple, the continuous, the perfect, and the perfect continuous. Okay? Or in American English, the indefinite, the progressive, the perfect, and the perfect continuous. Okay? Or perfect progressive. Okay? So, it doesn't matter. They all begin with the simple. So, the simple verb form uses to do as its helping verb, but of course, except for when you are contradicting somebody or stressing something, the helping verb do is not used in the positive, or in grammar terms, the affirmative. Okay? It's only used in question form and negative form. So, and of course there's the verb to be that's used to talk about states. Like, I am a teacher, you are students. Okay? So, no helping verb do in those, because to be forms its own helping verb. But to be is also the helping verb for the continuous. But, as I said, you're just using the simple, then plus something. To be plus what's called the present participle, which is ing, just like the gerund, ing. It's a little confusing. Why are the gerund and the present participle the same? I mean, why do they have the same ending? Well, you should be glad, because it's easy to remember. Okay? So don't really worry about the difference between participles and gerunds right now. A gerund is effectively a verb that can work like a noun, and a participle is a verb that can work like an adjective. So this makes a little more sense later on when you think, well, the continuous word in American English, the progressive, okay, uses a present participle, and that present participle can also work as an adjective, such as a working clock. Okay? And there's some connection there, but don't worry about it. But everything you say in the continuous is going to begin with the simple. I am a teacher. Okay? So I am teaching. Okay? You are a student. You are learning, hopefully. So I am, you are, he, she, it is. You see the S again. Okay? We are, you are, they are. Easy to remember. Easy peasy. Of course, there's an irregular past. I was doing something. You were doing something. He, she, it was doing something. But once again, just learn the simple conjugations of every verb. Okay? And just don't worry about the fact that there are many irregular ones, because, as I said, there are only about 20 that are in constant usage. So the perfect simple, or perfect indefinite in American English, is to have, which of course is an irregular verb. Okay? I have, you have, he, she, it has, we have, you have, they have. Okay? So with a past participle. Okay? Once again, a participle is a verb that can also work like an adjective, like a broken clock instead of working clock. So and of course that makes more sense later on. Okay? When you think about the fact that the perfect describes, say, whether or not something has or has not been done. Basically the occurrence of an action. I'll get into the rules later, but I just want to stress the fact that it always begins with the simple. Okay? I have a classroom. You have a computer, obviously, if you're watching this. Okay? So, I have done a video. Well, not quite, but I'm on it. Okay? So, you have watched a video. Not quite, but you're doing it right now. Okay? So once again, it's just conjugated as in the simple. I have, you have, he, she, it has, we have, you have, they have, plus the past participle. Done, opened, closed, whatever. Just like the continuous is to be plus the present participle. So doing, opening, closing, whatever. And then, of course, there's the perfect continuous, or perfect progressive. That is to have. And then, just like the perfect, there's a past participle, but that past participle is always been, have been. Okay? So it's easy to remember, because nothing ever changes. Okay? And then, of course, a present participle, just like the continuous. And if you can remember that present participles, like gerunds, always end in ing, it's not very difficult. So, I have been doing a video. You have been watching a video. Okay? But once again, it always begins with the simple. I have, you have, he has, she has, it has, we have, you have, they have. Inevitably. Okay? So, allergies, excuse me. Okay? So, now let's get to the uses of the verb forms. There are 4 verb forms and 3 tenses. Actually, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. English has a 4th tense that people don't want to talk about. Ooh, can't keep the hand in the video. So it's It's like the future, only its possibility. Okay? It's called subjunctive. Okay? So we'll ignore the subjunctive tense that grammarians want to ignore. Okay? And focus only on past, present, and future. Okay? And you know what? It doesn't make a damn difference whether you're talking about the past, present, or future, because the verb forms themselves hold constant. Every verb form has two uses, except for the perfect continuous, which has three. Now, of course, there are some idiomatic variants in this, depending on the location where you are. Okay, some, say, local custom, shall we say, to speaking. Okay, but basically speaking, if you follow these rules, you will not make a mistake. Okay, so let's start with the simple or indefinite. Okay, its two uses are an indefinite action or indefinite state. Okay, such as I work every day. Okay, so that's kind of a joke, by the way, because that's a repetitive action, but it does seem at the age of 45 that all I do is work. Okay, now let's joke around. Let's stop joking. Okay, for example, I reside in Almaty, Kazakhstan. Reside is like live, but not permanently. Okay, I reside in Almaty, Kazakhstan. Okay, that's indefinite because I don't know when I will leave. Okay, so I got kids here, so I stay. So I reside here indefinitely. Indefinite means I don't know when something is going to end. Or in the past, I didn't know when something was going to end. I lived in Houston, Texas as a child. Did I know when I would leave Houston, Texas? No, I had no earthly idea. Okay? As it turns out, it was when I was 13. So the tense is unimportant. Okay? Sometimes it's a little hard to use in the future, but if you think about when somebody comes up to you and says, hey, I've got a headache, okay, and you say, shall I get you an aspirin? Well, that's indefinite, okay, because you did not know that that you were going to offer him an aspirin, okay? You didn't like, today I'm going to offer somebody an aspirin. It's got to be today. So that's where the indefinite comes in the future. Of course, as we'll see later, if you know what you're going to do, then you use the continuous, or if it's inevitable or unstoppable, use to be going to. We'll get to that. So the second use of the simple is indefinite and repetitive, as I joked about earlier when I said I work every day. Okay, that's repetitive because days change, although, as I said, they seem to run into each other. It doesn't seem like that there are separate days, but one constant day of routine. Okay? So, in truth, this video is not just for learners of English, but also teachers who needlessly complicate this basic information. I'm not sure if they're doing it for their own profit, or if they simply don't understand the basics. Okay? Most people never think about what they do. It just basically ends up being routine. And they don't think about whether or not they're doing it right. Okay? So the simple. Indefinite, meaning I don't know when it is going to end, or when it was going to end, or when it will end in the future indefinitely, whatever. Okay? Or indefinite and repetitive. Okay? Meaning, once again, I don't know when it is going to end, when it was going to end, when it will end, okay? But it repeats itself, okay? So basically speaking, indefinite simple, I am a teacher, okay? So indefinite repetitive, I teach every day, okay? Now the continuous. Now, once again, the first verb in the continuous is always conjugated like the simple, but you add the present participle, the ing. Now, in reality, the continuous and the simple are opposites, like day and night, and dark and light. Okay? Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Okay? So, anyway, so The continuous may also be called the progressive in American English, but if you think about it, it's really better to call it the definite verb form. Okay? And once again, just like the simple, tense is unimportant. Okay? The rules hold in any tense, just like the indefinite was I lived in Houston as a child, and I didn't know when I was going to go. I reside in Almaty now, and I don't know when I'm going to go. I'm going to leave. Okay? So too, the continuous is true across various tenses. Okay? The 3 tenses and the 4th one we don't discuss. Okay? So, the first use is an action at a specific moment. Okay? So, if you think about this, when you observe somebody, when you look at somebody, unless they have informed you as to their actions, unless they've said, I am going to do this, okay, of course that's present continuous for the future, that's a special combination, we'll talk about those at the end of the video. Unless they have announced their intentions, their idea of what they plan to do, okay, you can only observe at each given moment, okay? So, hey, he is coming this way, okay? Now we can imagine that it's the second use, which is a limited action, okay? But, truthfully speaking, unless he has informed us, we don't know if he's actually making his way from point A to point B, being us, okay? Or if he's going to continue past, or stop before us, or turn to a different direction. It's really impossible to say, okay? So, and of course the second use is a limited action. So whoever is doing the action, okay, there's to be, he is, whoever is doing the action knows what his plans are, okay? Which is why the present continuous is also used to talk about future plans, okay? So, it's a strange thing, but both rules of the continuous can be true at the same time, depending on if you're the observer or the actor. Oop, there we go, 2 up there, okay? So, I see that he is coming towards me, okay, at each moment, as an observer. So, he knows what he's thinking, so he is walking towards me, okay? So we are watching a video now, okay, or I should say you are watching it, and I'm probably teaching a class, okay? Basically speaking, as I said, the continuous is the opposite of the simple. The simple is indefinite, meaning we don't know about the time, okay? And the continuous is definite, meaning we do know about the time, okay? It's either an exact moment or it's limited, okay? We can try to predict what somebody is going to do, okay? We can predict their limited action, or we can just accept that we are observers to their action. So, then we get to the perfect, okay? The perfect shows an action that happens at an indefinite time within a period of time. And I think, oh my god, what the hell did he just say? Basically speaking, it means that at some time between, there we go, 2 points, something happens, okay? So imagine my nose is the action, okay? Most people don't really care when something happens, okay? There we go, there or there, okay? They just care that it has happened. They care that the action has occurred, okay? Think about this. You take your car in to be repaired, you come back 2 days later, the car is repaired. Is it important if the car was repaired 5 minutes ago, 5 hours ago, or a day and a half ago? No! You're just happy that the car is ready for you to drive away, okay? And hopefully you're driving safely, okay? So, the first use of the perfect simple is an action that happens in an indefinite, or as I said, indefinite means unknown time within a period of time, okay? So, I have taken my car to the shop. I don't drive, but let's just use this for the sake of argument. I have taken my car to the shop, okay? You probably don't really care exactly the moment that I took the car to the shop, okay? So, the repairman has repaired my car, okay? Or, for instance, I could go to pick up the car, and I said that it doesn't matter whether it's past, present, or future. So the repairman had repaired my car before I got to the shop, and I have taken the car home now, okay? And by tomorrow evening, I will have washed the car. No specific time involved. The second use of the perfect simple or perfect indefinite is an action that began at some past time and continues forward, or if you're looking at this in reverse, anyway, continues forward to an indefinite time, okay? But it continues past the now, or if this is in the past, past some past time, beyond some past time. So, for example, I have resided in Almaty for many years. Okay? I have been here for many years. Okay? Do I know when I will leave? I wish I did. Okay? But I don't know. Okay? So, I had lived in Houston, Texas for many years. Did I know when I was going to leave? Not till somebody told me. I was still a kid when I left, obviously. So it was indefinite. I could say, I had lived in Houston, Texas for 10 years as of the age of 13 when I had to move, when I was made to move to Colorado. Okay? Quite a change. Anyway, so tense is unimportant. Okay? How long have you worked here? By the way, we'll get to this. Not how long have you been working here, unless you know the person is working a temporary job. How long have you worked here? How long have you practiced your profession? How long have you lived here? Okay? Because these things are indefinite. Okay? Unless somebody's working on a limited contract. So, and then the perfect continuous, which has 3 uses. So, here's where the confusion comes, and we're going to skip the confusion to the last and focus on the 2 main issues. Okay, the 2 main uses. Okay, the first one is the result of a limited action. Now, many people say, well, doesn't the perfect simple show the result of an action? I think no, because if there has been no action, you use the perfect. Okay, hey, have you finished the work? No, I have not. Have you been to Paris? Yes, I have. Okay, so there need not be a result. But with the perfect continuous, there definitely must be a result. Otherwise, it sounds really stupid to say. Okay? Hey, have you been playing outside? Why do you ask? Well, you're sweaty and you're dirty and you look tired. Why? Yes, I have been playing outside. Okay? So, but what about if you said, hey, have you been killing somebody? Why do you ask? Well, no reason. I mean, if the person's covered in blood, then you might ask, hey, have you been killing somebody? But it's a strange thing to ask if there's no result, okay? It's a strange thing to say, hey, Dave, how you doing? I'm doing great. What have you been doing? Well, I certainly haven't been killing anybody. I really hadn't guessed that, I mean, I hadn't assumed you were killing anybody. Okay, or had been killing anybody, to use the perfect continuous. Okay, there must be a result, otherwise it sounds ridiculous to talk about a limited action in that way. Okay, you just go to the perfect. Have you ever killed anybody? Have you ever driven a car? Have you ever been to Paris? Okay, it sounds very weird without the result. Okay, so without the result of blood to say, have you been killing somebody? Or without saying somebody driving very badly, have you been driving a car? Is that why you've got 12 citations for bad driving? Okay, or say, have you been visiting Paris Well, I'm here, aren't I? Okay, anyway. So the result of the action. Okay? The second use of the perfect continuous. A point in a limited action. Okay, once again, we can imagine my nose here. Okay, so there's the point. Okay, so let's say, for example, somebody. I guess for you, this is better. Okay, I'm not quite sure which side you want to focus on. Okay, let's just use this for the start. Okay, so you've got a project. Okay, that you have to finish. There's the end. Okay, and you're working on it, and somebody calls you, and you say, hey, I've been working on this project for a couple of hours. Okay? So, a point within a limited action. Okay? I've been working hard all day, but I've got another hour to work. Then I want to go for drinks. Okay? Remember, once again, that everything that I have said has begun with the simple. Whether it's the simple, the continuous, the perfect, or the perfect continuous. So far, and up until when I finish this video, everything I say is going to begin with the simple. Okay? Now comes the difficult use of the perfect continuous. The difficult use of the perfect continuous, the third use, the only verb form with 3 uses, is a series of limited actions. Okay? So, this is confusing because many people screw this up. They make a huge mistake. They're like, how long have you been working here? Okay? But work is indefinite. Okay? Or life somewhere is indefinite. Not how long have you been living here. How long have you been staying here, maybe, because stay is like limited live. Okay? How long have you lived here? Or resided here, in my case. Okay? This is a series of limited actions. Okay? So, I play basketball. Badly. Okay? I still sometimes play. Rarely. Okay? But I've been playing basketball since I was a kid. Okay? Once this month, once in 3 months, once every half year, whatever. Okay? So, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, these guys have played basketball since they were kids. It's their job, it's their love, their passion, it's what they're into. It's their thing, okay? So for them, it's indefinite, okay? Whether Jordan is playing or is coaching at a specific moment is unimportant, okay? It's what he does. He plays basketball. Even if he coaches basketball, he still plays it, at least in terms of chess, and those become his chess pieces, players. Okay? So, me, if I play it, I've simply have been playing it. Okay? So, to reiterate, there are 3 tenses, past, present, and future, but they're unimportant in terms of verb forms, except for 3 specific combinations, which I'll get to next. Okay? I'm just reviewing what we've done so far. Past, present, future. 4 verb forms. The simple, the continuous, the perfect continuous. Or in American English, the indefinite, the progressive, the perfect indefinite, and the perfect progressive. Okay? So, and the simple has 2 uses. It shows an indefinite action, meaning that you don't know really when it ends, and it shows an indefinite and repetitive action, meaning that you don't know when it ends and it repeats itself, whether that's regularly or irregularly, whether it's every day or sometimes is unimportant. It just means repetition. Okay? So, the continuous shows 2 actions as well. Okay? One is an action at a specific moment. Okay? And the second one is a limited action. So, effectively the opposite of the indefinite. Then the perfect continuous has the perfect simple, has 2 uses. Okay? The first is an action that happens in an indefinite or unknown time within a period of time. And the second one is an indefinite action that begins at some past time and continues beyond a line in time. Okay? So you don't know when it's going to end, you just simply know that it has past a point. Okay? So, and then the perfect continuous shows the result of a limited action. Okay, and that's a key thing, result. Okay? It shows a point within a limited action because you do know when it's going in, or at least you can predict it. And the third usage, which is unusual for a verb form, is a series of limited actions. That's the basketball example. Okay? So, now let's look at the three specific tense form combinations. The first is the past simple. So, the past simple is used to show an exact time, not an exact moment like the continuous, okay? Not what were you doing at 5 p.m. yesterday, or I'm going to change positions here. I was changing positions at that moment, okay? Or I was getting into the shower when the phone rang. I think that's straight out of one particular grammar book, okay? So this is not a specific moment, okay? This is a general time, and that's the confusing part for most people because they think, well, last night, why not say I was sleeping last night, okay, to show the limited period, okay? Well, that's the real issue because most people don't care, okay? Just like the perfect simple, most people don't care when something occurs. Most people don't care about, and this of course this is where the American English comes in, the progression of the action. They simply don't, okay? I don't care what you were doing from moment to moment yesterday. If you enjoyed your sleep, bravo, benissimo, okay? I'm very happy for you, okay? If you enjoy each moment of your sleep. But if you just want to tell me about this period, okay, encapsulate it, okay? That's the key. That's how an exact time, say, can be made out of a long period. A night, a day, a week, a year, a decade, a century, a millennium. It doesn't matter, okay? We just collapse that, okay? We've collapsed the waveform. Science joke. Anyway, so, basically speaking, so you could say, she was born in 1992, okay? So, 1992 was 365 days, okay? So, but it's not really that important. Most people simply do not care. They don't care, okay? I don't care, you don't care, okay? So, maybe you like her, maybe you want to know her birthday so you can send her a gift and maybe she'll like you back, okay? But, in general, let's just look at the issue as she was born in a certain year, or, on a certain day, even if you just looked at the day, so January 23rd, 1992, well, that's 24 hours. Do you really care about the exact moment, okay? 10:25 and 30 seconds, okay? No, we'll just collapse the day, collapse the week, the month, the year, okay? Encapsulation. That's the exact time as opposed to exact moment. So, then the next special combination of tense and form is the present simple for the future. You're like, what the heck is that? Okay, this is very funny because in English, things that are officially planned or formally planned are considered to be true, which is kind of weird, okay? This is the one really illogical thing in English, but we'll roll with it, okay? So, the concert starts at 9 o'clock. The plane leaves in 15 minutes, okay? This is really a sort of abbreviated form as far as I can see. I often call it secretary's form, okay? It's like some partner calls another partner in like a law firm, and the secretary says, well, I'm sorry but Mr. Wilson is out this week. He's in Cincinnati. He gives a presentation tomorrow. He has a banquet the next day. He's back in the office in a week. Okay? So it's really good for showing itineraries. Okay? So, but it's always used to talk about, say, the comings and goings of planes, trains, and automobiles. I mean, as far as like official, say, departure and arrival times, okay? the beginning and end of concerts and other events. Okay? So this is something you just have to accept as an idiomatic construction within English. Now the third tense form combination, my neck is starting to hurt, okay, is the present continuous for the future. Okay? So, this actually makes some logical sense. If you look back to what I said about the continuous being used to show observations and progression by somebody who's actually doing the action at the same time. Okay? So somebody who is doing something knows what his plans are. Okay? If he doesn't, well, like most politicians, okay, then we certainly hope he eventually learns. So for example, I am meeting friends for dinner later. Okay? Well, that shows a plan. Okay? Now, many people say, I'm going to meet friends for dinner later. Now, here's what I say to that. Okay? I'm a little pedantic in this way. Use the continuous without going to show an action that's not entirely in your control. Your friends can say no. They can cancel. They can say, well, we're just not interested in this. Okay? And use going to talk about something that is in your control or is in somebody's control. Okay? And I'll explain this more in a minute. So, for example, I am meeting friends later, but they may cancel. I am going to the cinema today. If it doesn't blow up or something, you know, we don't get one of those crazy Batman shooters. Okay? So, because it's in my control. I can leave my office. I can walk to the cinema. It's actually half a block away. And I can buy a ticket, and I can go into the cinema. Okay? So, short of something, say, extreme, it's all in my control. I'm going to the cinema. Okay? So, now the other use of to be going to is to show something that is inevitable, unstoppable. Okay? Hey, the building's going to collapse! Leave! Okay? So, if you remember, say, any number of movies, this is always the case. Hey, the bomb is going to explode. Run. Okay? Inevitable. Cannot be stopped. Okay? That's why I like to separate present continuous with somebody else, then, or say with somebody else, say having some control, then just use the present continuous. Present continuous for future plan. When you have total control, or when somebody has total control, you can use to be going to, or when the action is inevitable. Okay? Something is going to fall. Something is going to happen. Okay? So, those are the three special combinations of tense and form. Past simple for an exact encapsulated time, but not an exact moment, like the continuous. Present simple for a future planned or scheduled action, something official. And present continuous for planned future action, or something that is inevitable. Okay? Now remember, once again, everything you say in English begins with the simple. Learn the simple. Learn to conjugate every verb in the simple. Okay? And then think about everything you do as just an extension of that. So, I work. Do you work? No, I don't work. I am a teacher. Are you a teacher? No, I'm not a teacher. Okay? So, I am working now. Are you working now? No, I'm not working now. So, I have worked today. Have you worked today? No, I haven't worked today. So, I have been working hard and I am tired. Have you been working hard? Because I see you're tired. No, I haven't been working hard and I'm not tired. So, let me work some more. And hopefully that's what you're going to do after seeing this video. Do some grammar work and try to remember what I've said. I think I'll post a photo of my board that's up there, which you can't see, which includes a list of these rules. I'll put that into the little section below the video so it may help you. I would recommend that you copy it into your notebook and try to remember the rules exactly. Well, I hope this helped you. Hasta la vista.